Hey there, everybody. You're listening to the Total Basis Podcast. I am your host, Felipe Milicio. And I'm once again flying solo today as we continue our series on the ESPN Top 300. We're going to concentrate on pitchers today, see how far I can get. I'm on a kind of on a tight schedule. Something happened with my camera, so you can't see me. Sorry, I'm the John Cena of this podcast. But also, I will not be on Facebook Live as I'm kind of in a rush and I might just end up doing this in parts here, but still wanted to get this out before Tristan Cockruff decided to update his rankings once again. And I'll be once again behind the eight ball. So, again, hopefully people find this very useful. Until then, again, this is not a podcast, not a total basis podcast show, unless I am creating a spreadsheet and there it is. If you're on the YouTube channel, uh, over at the Life Group Podcasts YouTube channel, you can see the visual there. And once again, trying to look for some of the names that are on the back end of each tier. So right now, I'm looking at rankings 1 through 15 at starting pitcher. Everybody knows Spencer Strider, Garrett Cole, Corbin Burns, Zach Wheeler, Kevin Gossman, Luis Castillo, George Kirby, surprisingly at number 7, according to ESPN's top 300 starting pitching rankings. And then there's Zach Gallen. So I'm looking more towards the back end of that list, anywhere between 9 and 15, as that would be an indicator as to what I envision a sleeper would be. Of that list, usually I have a qualm about picking any pitchers in the top 12, even in the top 10. I guess if I have to choose as a surefire thing in 2024, last year was Spencer Strider. Like, I think Spencer Strider was ranked like in the top 15, somewhere in the back on the second half of the top 15. And I think I told everybody, by all means, go ahead, draft Spencer Strider with confidence. You'll thank me later, and that's exactly what happened. I think this year Zach Wheeler will be my guy at the number 4 spot. Um, Maybe Luis Castillo, but I don't know. I think Wheeler might be. I know he plays in a bad ballpark, but he might be the quote unquote SP1 elite pitcher, elite starting pitcher to get here. So that would be my recommendation, but it's still early. We'll see what these rankings go as the offseason continues on. And the reason I look at rankings because I like the rankings. I like the what the experts, so-called experts, think. Plus, at the end of the day, average draft position I believe, takes from the expert rankings and vice versa. The expert rankings take from ADP. They're kind of interchangeable at this point. But Tyler Glasnow is the first pitcher that I would recommend at the number 9 spot as one of my quote unquote sleepers. I know people know who he is. He's not much of a sleeper, but the fact that he's ranked number 9 um, just shows that Tristan Cockruff and ESPN are still kind of wary about him. He does come with injury risk. He does come with what was it, the Tommy John surgery from 2021, I believe. He missed almost the entire 2022 season. That's always been and the Dodgers, will they be babying him the rest of the season? But I'm telling you right now, he's in the right situation getting traded to the Dodgers. He's they believe in him. They gave him a big contract, so I think they're gonna really utilize him as the ace pitcher on that staff. I know that they do things a little bit different in Los Angeles there, but yeah, I mean he's backed by a great bullpen, I think. Great, backed by a great cast of hitters, and I don't think the Dodgers are quite done yet. Although the Dodger fans will remind me that they still need to get rid of some guys in their 40-man roster in order to make room for some more signings. So we'll see what they end up doing. Maybe Miguel Vargas or Michael Bush could be dangled out there, but I don't know. We'll find out soon enough. But I mean, this lineup with Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, Will Smith, Max Muncy, James Outman, which was everybody's deep sleeper darling last year around this time. So yeah, a lot to like here with the Dodgers. and therefore Tyler Glasnow should benefit greatly. He still comes with a double-digit strikeout per nine, has shown time and time again that he can control his walks. The peripherals agree with him that he is a stud, especially at number nine. I mean, the cost should be pretty damn cheap at that point for a starting pitcher of his caliber. Uh, the swinging rates, the 48.4% of 2023 is the highest that he's ever registered since 2021 before he got hurt. And he was able to match the 32%, well, 32.4 versus 32.6% in 2021. So, and also the second highest swinging strike rate, and the highest call plus swinging strike rate percentage of his career, 33.4. It looks like the surgery not only got him back to that near elite status, but it also cemented him as someone that you can that actually improve some of this opposing hitter swinging tendencies as well. So with that being said, we can move on to the next guy, which is, as long as my computer is able to cooperate with me, it is Pablo Lopez, which kind of a personal story here. I actually drafted him sometime in the middle rounds in my points league last year. I missed out on him in my other two categories league, but that's okay. Because Pablo Lopez pretty is a kind of dependable guy, but he's always had this like low floor, consistent pitcher, but it's more like what's the phrase that they like to use? Oh, I forgot, but something of solid but unspectacular. That's how I viewed him. And I actually did waive him sometime in the middle of the year just because I had so many injuries, and Pablo Lopez was hurting in terms of the lack of points. It's a points league, so the leash was already short to begin with. And boy, that ended up being a big mistake. 194 innings pitched last year, double-digit strikeout per nine, was able to once again keep his walks in control. Actually, that last year's 2.23 walk per nine ratio was the lowest it's been since 2019. So, and again, the peripherals, solid threes all around. Nothing above 3.5. What about his SIERA? Is that above 3.5? Nope, 3.37. So, yeah, I don't know if you can go in trusting him as your SP1, but as a guy who's coming back on the back end of this top 10 list, uh, you could do a lot worse than Pablo Lopez. He should be once again on a interesting Minnesota Twins lineup, Minnesota Twins roster. Uh, there's a lot to like here for Pablo Lopez. I know it's not a sexy name, but it's a solid name. Again, solid but unspectacular. But I think last year, if it's any indication, last season, Pablo Lopez made me eat my words, and yeah, proceed with confidence. He's in his mid 20, actually 27, 28 years old. So if you believe in that type of stuff, technically middle of his peak here. Anyway, let's go move on to Tariq Skubal. I mean, these are some interesting teams here, the Twins and now the Tigers. Skubal ended up being, in a world in a roster with guys like Matt Manning, Casey Mize. I forgot what the other pitchers were on that team. It seemed like for a while they had a lot of pitching prospects that everybody was keeping an eye on, and they all had high what do you call it? High draft capital. Like Casey Mize was a former number one pick overall. And Tariq Skubal continues to be that dude. He's the most consistent young guy, young pitcher that they had. Although now I didn't realize he was already 27. So I'm not sure if you want to call him a late bloomer or not. But again, no, not even a late bloomer. He started playing around his first season was in 2020. I didn't realize that, but 2021 was his sort of his breakout year. Uh, yeah, in 2021, proving that he can hold his own, and he was kind of fast tracking. At least he ended up being having a faster development than guys like Casey Mize and who's the other guy that I mentioned, Matt Manning. So Skubal, I'm all in on Skubal. Number 11 might be too high, but that must mean that Cockruff really loves the Tigers coming into the season. Yeah, he Cockruff actually moved them up his rankings above guys like above ahead of guys like Aaron Nola, Logan Webb, Max Fried, even Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who, yeah, I don't know if I I don't know if I would pick a Screwball ahead of him, but at number 11, uh, that seems. I just wanted to give Terry Screwball some love. I don't know if I want to convince myself that he's my number one guy, but I guess considering who else is out there, like Aaron Nola, I know has always been a dependable guy, but man, that the velocity seems to be dropping on him every season. The strikeout numbers seem to be dropping every season, and you know what? Shame on me. I just caught myself assuming things without really checking. So this was not supposed to be an Aaron Nola thing. I just wanted to give some shine to Terry Skubal. But while I'm on topic, might as well see if my hypothesis or if my declarations are correct about Mr. Aaron Nola of your Philadelphia Phillies. So I'm just kind of waiting for this thing to load up on the other screen. Meanwhile, Terry Skubal still showing up. So as you guys can see, 9, 10, and number 11 starting pitchers were the guys I went with in that first tier that you see there. Let's see. Yeah, Aaron Nola, for last season, his strikeout per nine ratio went down below 10 for the first time since 2018. He was at 9.39, still respectable, still can control his walks. But yeah, he's not dominating like he used to. It seems like the arrow's pointing down. He'll be 31 by June of this upcoming season in 2024. What else did I not like about him? Strikeout per walk. Yeah, strikeout per walk. Four and a half isn't too bad, I guess. I'm not gonna. Yeah, he's always had really good control, even in Philadelphia, but still, a 403 FIP, which is pretty darn high for a guy of his caliber. That's the highest it's been since 2019. Well, the home run rapid ball was in full effect that season. Actually, his home runs also went up 1.49 home run per nine in 2023. Anything else that's kind of uh, eye-opening here? I mean, he's still giving up somewhat of a weak contact. His hard hit rate is below 40%, so he's keeping hitters honest. Still induces more grounders and fly balls, which is a good thing, especially if you're going to be playing in Philadelphia. So, but I don't know. It's just not a sexy pick for me. Velocity is dropping every year. It drops another tenth of a mile per hour. And not only that, and I'm sorry, when I say velocity, I mean on his fastball, sorry. And not only that, but he's throwing more of his knuckle curve, which nowadays that's just the way it is nowadays in Major League Baseball. But I mean, his velocity on his fastball is dropping. His sinker velocity is also dropping much more precipitously than on his four-seamer. And his knuckle curve clocks in at about 79 miles an hour. So he still needs to depend on those fastballs, especially on the location on the fastball and sinker, if he's going to utilize his knuckle curve to his full advantage. And that's too much junk ball pitcher type for my liking. Meanwhile, Terry Skubal broke out last year with an 11.43 strikeout per nine ratio. Yeah, strikeout per nine ratio. A walk per nine below two, which is monumental. Peripherals love him. Also keeps the hitters honest, coming from the left side of the rubber there. He does throw a left-handed, just making sure. The other thing I like about him is, yeah, his fastball is getting better and better every year in terms of the velo. 95.8 was uh, is what the average was on his fastball last season after three consecutive seasons of 94 mile per hour, just hovering around there. So the arrow is pointing up. Might as well go all in on Terry Skubal. The Tigers are also an improving team with Spencer Torkelson and Riley Green. I think I mentioned those guys on the previous podcast episode as well. Where's the plate discipline? I mean, plate discipline. This guy just induces a lot of swings last year. Now you could tell me that pretty fluky of him to be doing all this uh, after years of kind of going up and down, showing ebb and flow in his production. But I don't see it that way. Quite the opposite. I see that this is a culmination of just grinding out and playing for an awful team like the Tigers and just putting in your work and just, going from a ninth round pick to being a top five prospect for your major league team and just working your way into prominence here as a promising prospect. So there's a lot to love about Terry Skubal. So we move on to pitchers, starting pitchers number 16 through 30. Grayson Rodriguez. You guys know how I feel about Grayson Rodriguez. He's been a guy that's been on my radar. I've been clamoring for him. I don't even know if that's the right word, clamor. I've been clamoring. I've been yearning for him. I've been all in on this kid. 6'5", 220-pounder, will be 24 years old entering the 2024 season. Former first round pick. It says he was number 16 overall and the Fangraphs top 100. I could have sworn he was at least top five, but like these rankings and ratings are so dynamic, and it's hard to pinpoint where everything is stopped and resetting at any time. So we'll go with number 16. Either way, highly touted prospect. Um, some of the best prospect grades I've seen in a long time from a pitcher, although it looks like it dropped a little bit last year. Some of those prospect grades, I could have sworn there was a lot of 60s and 70s all across the board, which is the reason why I got excited for the kid. But I should have known better that even those prospect grades are a dynamic as well, and that they're constantly changing. But look at this, graduate too long to read or whatever that TLDR, according to his Fangraphs page. Prospect era Rodriguez was evaluated as a potential front end arm. At time of graduation, his rookie season had been marred by an extremely unlucky home run per fly ball rate. So yeah, he did ironically did struggle, even though Baltimore has become this place, this ballpark where it's become more pitcher friendly. But home run per nine was at 1.18, which is not too bad. I mean, you still wanted lower than that. Um, Expected ERA of 4.1.8, but everything else like the FIP, XFIP, those were below four. Well, where was his Sierra? Now 4.01. So, but for a rookie of his stature, which we find out that there's more growing pains than what we anticipated. I think he showed a lot of character, some strides towards some consistency, and we saw some of the promise that was bestowed upon him as a former first round pick and a highly touted prospect. I think that 2024 should be more of a breakout, or at least um, more continuing improvement. And as pitcher number 22, well, I mean, who else was on this list here at 22nd rank? Joe Musgrove, no. Joe Ryan, I will see about Joe Ryan. Jesus Luzardo, maybe I'll pick him over Grayson Rodriguez. Maybe Yuri Perez. Well, that's another risk there, but I think I still take Grayson over Perez. Justin Steele, I still take Grayson. Kyle Bradish, his teammate, Grayson Rodriguez. Bobby Miller, I think I'm slightly going towards Grayson Rodriguez over Sonny Gray. Oh boy, that's a tough one. Kind of a wash there, but I think the fact that he's Gray is now with the Cardinals kind of is a major turnoff for me. Jordan Montgomery, I think I'll still take Grayson Rodriguez. Dylan Cease, definitely take Grayson Rodriguez. Justin Verlander. Yeah, I've been down on Verlander before, and he was going consistently in the top 200, like close to pick number 195, 199, in a lot of the drafts I was involved in, and the mock drafts, and a lot of the expert rankings. This year, he only moved up 50 spots according to Tristan Cockcroft, to number 145. So I don't know, Grayson Rodriguez or Justin Verlander. I think for this upcoming season, I might be worth. Well, then again, you could wait around for Justin Verlander. But see, the thing with Justin Verlander is that he's so damn popular that he will be reached for. I don't think he'll be available at pick number 145. Rodriguez is going at pick number 86. Man, that's a leap of faith, man. If you truly believe that Justin Verlander is not the 145th best player on this list, that he should be somewhere in the top 100 by all means. But eventually, you got to go out with the old and in with the new. So I guess 145 is good value for Justin Verlander, but At any case, I think I still will go for the potential of Grayson Rodriguez. I think he's in for a breakout year in 2024. Speaking of Jesus Luzardo, there he is again. I'm all in. Luzardo finally pitching to promise that he has had since his days in Oakland. I believe he battled some injuries throughout his career, but a hell of a breakout for Luzardo last year. Once again, posting a K per nine over 10 and a half, threw in 178 innings. So finally showing like durability and is able to also show some of his control. And man, there's the peripherals are all there. There's a lot to love about this kid, man. Is he still a kid? 26. By comparison, everybody's a kid compared to me. But yeah, I guess he's still kind of growing into his own. Uh, he's he did post a fly ball, a slightly higher fly ball rate than ground ball rate. But I think he pitches in Miami, so like Miami is notorious for being a pitcher friendly ballpark. So I guess you'll take that. But the things to love about him, and I can already sense it, the plate discipline numbers, career high swinging percentage of 48.5%, career high outside the strike zone swing percentage of 34%. So he's getting hitters to chase. All of this by still dominating the contact rates, still hovering around 70%. That's the stuff you like to see. Swinging strike rate back at 14% for the first time since his rookie year in 2019 or his debut year of 2019. God, if he actually pitched enough innings to be considered a rookie, or if his rookie season, quote unquote, his rookie season. Yeah, he only pitched in 6 games, so 12 innings pitched total. So his debut season of 2019. So for all intents and purposes, 14.1% is a new record for Jesus Luzardo. He did take a dip in the call plus swinging strike percentage combination, but it's still close to 30% at 29.8% there. By all means, man, you don't need me to tell you about Jesus Luzardo. You guys should know who he is by now. And guess well, if this is a sleeper episode, why are you mentioning him? But same reason. I mean, who was there available between 16 and 30? Again, there's Yuri Perez, Justin Steele, Kyle Bradish, Bobby Miller, Sonny Gray, Jordan Montgomery, Dylan Cease, Justin Verlander. Oops, I went too far. But yeah, Dylan Cease, Justin Verlander. Uh, I guess compared to some of those names I mentioned, like Sonny Gray, Justin Verlander, and Dylan Cease, Jesus Luzardo is not a household name, so that's the case I'm making here. But yeah, compared to, and then Joe Musgrove is also ranked ahead. I'm telling you right now, nah, I would put Jesus Luzardo ahead of that ranking. Joe Musgrove, the 23rd best starting pitcher according to the ESPN Top 300. I disagree with that. I would put Luzardo. Hell, I'll even put Luzardo ahead of Grayson Rodriguez at number 22. Maybe even ahead of Kodai Senga or Zach Eflin or Logan Gilbert. Okay, now I'm just talking crazy, right? But yeah, proceed with much confidence. If you get Jesus Luzardo, do an end zone dance, you deserve it. And I can't, Yuri Perez, I did mention him in passing, and I've been pretty high on this kid for a while. And there's a understatement of the year, a kid 6'8". Yeah, he's only 20, so technically not old enough to drink. He'll be 21 by tax day of this upcoming season. But yeah, he's a big boy, man, and I think he showed some promise, a lot of promise last year. Yeah, the home run was high, way too many fly balls, but still, I think he was able to hold his own last year, all things considered. The Marlins were gonna baby him, but he still was able to produce a double-digit K per nine, 28.9% strikeout rate, respectable three walk per nine ratio, 1.13 whip. Yeah, the FIP is a little high, but I think that's because of the home run issue. What was his xFIP? 4.24. So a work in progress, I will admit. Sierra, though, that's the ERA component that uh, takes into consideration the batted ball data as well. Was below 4 at 3.94. I'm telling you guys, this guy's in the right direction. The Marlins like him. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, if the Marlins didn't like him, he'd probably be loitering or floundering in the minors, but they decided, no, this kid's ready right now. Yuri Perez penciled in as a number 2 starter. I mean, come on. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get this show on the road, man. Do not let Yuri Perez go. I mean, okay, let's take a look at some of these other pitchers that are ranked ahead of Yuri Perez. Starting at number 21, Kodai Senga. I think I will still take Yuri Perez. Blake Snell. Okay, maybe I'll take Blake Snell there. Maybe. Zach Eflin. I'd rather have Yuri Perez. Logan Gilbert. Yuri Perez. Freddie Peralta. I'm a sucker for these prospects, man. I will take Yuri Perez. Freddie Peralta. Oh, I just mentioned him. Framber Valdez. Yeah, something was off about Framber Valdez last year. Usually a guy that I depend on in every draft I'm in. But I think this year I would rather have Yuri Perez over Framber Valdez and take the risk of having a young arm who hasn't pitched, who hasn't shown that he can handle the workload. It's fine. Framber Valdez has shown that he can handle the workload, and he looked like he was gas at the end of the season. So it's just a matter of what you're looking for. Uh, but yeah, and chasing upside, I'll admit it. I'm chasing upside at starting pitcher. Like, not that Framber Valdez doesn't have any upside whatsoever. I still believe in him, but just something's off about him that I'm not liking. Meanwhile, Yuri Perez, I think uh, we're just seeing just a small window of how dominant he could be. And man, he just comes with a lot of promise, man. Those 3 pitchers, Grayson Rodriguez, Jesus Luzardo, Yuri Perez, I don't know about you guys, but if I get any of those 2 out of those 3 guys, hell, if I get one of those 3 guys, I would be ecstatic. But best believe I'll be targeting all 3 of those pitchers to come my way. To pitchers number 31 to 45, I start out with Tanner Bibee. I guess that's how you pronounce it. I've been pronouncing it Bibby, but I could have sworn I was listening to the Chris Welsh podcast, and shame on me, I already forgot the name of it. This League of Ours, I think it's called. I think they were pronouncing it Tanner Bybee. Feel free to correct me. I'm a big boy. I could take the criticism. Why don't you learn how to pronounce these ball players' names, you jackass? Like, I'm sorry. I'm in a hurry here. And while that's happening, I'm going to take a sip of water if you guys don't mind while my screen loads up on the other end here. Hold on a minute. Hmm. Tanner Bybee will be 25 years old in March of this upcoming year, 2024, upcoming season. Sorry. Uh, he held his own last year, rookie season, pitching 142 innings, close to a 9 strikeout per 9 ratio. Did a wonderful job keeping control of his walks. For those who still care about wins, he got 10 wins on a pretty, I'm sorry, man, that was a really boring, awful Cleveland Guardians team, man. It was so bad at one point they just decided to bring up all the highly touted prospects, especially on the pitching side of things. A little bit of a luck factor going on here with a 286 BABIP, which you still want that hovering around 300. So it's not that low, but still, he definitely benefited from a 286 batting average on balls in play. The left on base percentage of 80%, that's due for some regression as well. That's crazy for a rookie to have an 80% left on base percentage. Only a 36.8 ground ball rate. Uh, so we'll see how hitters adjust to him in his second year here. Either way, the peripherals love him. Well, not XFIP. XFIP does not like him, but FIP, which is a very important stat to my heart here. 3.52 field independent pitching. And for those who don't know what FIP means, it's basically what can a pitcher do if there was no fielders behind him? Can he get strikeouts? Can he control his walks? Can he not hit batters? And can he not give up a lot of home runs? So that's why FIP loves him a lot. 4.19 Sierra. Again, that's because of the low BABIP that he benefited from, but still, I don't think it was that high. And I'm kind of shocked that it's at 4.19 Sierra. But still, it's a good start to this kid's career. I know that they like him up there in Cleveland, up there, down there, somewhere out there. Uh, Outside the strike zone swing percentage, only 27.7%, but hopefully that number gets improved upon. I mean, a guy who was this highly regarded as a prospect to, I'm sorry, that's the pitch info plate discipline, 31.2% on the Fangraphs regular plate discipline, which is the go-to I go with. But still, I still want to see that a little bit higher. But call plus strikeout. I'm sorry, called strikes plus swinging strike percentage. Uh, was at 27.6. I would love to see that close to 30, but for a rookie, it's pretty damn good. Double-digit swinging strike percentages. A lot to like here. I think Cleveland has themselves a good one, and I believe he's at the top of that rotation, which for some people they panic when they see that, like, oh, that means they got to face the opposing pitcher's ace all the time. I see a little bit different. That means that Cleveland is always gonna want to see him start as opposed to you'll skip him or as opposed to a number 4, number 5 starting pitcher, which call me crazy, but I still think those guys are more skippable than the number 1 ace or number 2 rotation guy in a starting pitching staff. Let's see here. Got about 10 more minutes before I have to pause. I'm trying to do a little bit of experimenting today. Um, as I'm trying to break these episodes into parts here while providing as much info as I can. So that's Tanner Bybee. Oh, and I wanted to double check where is he on the there he is. Cleveland Guardians. He is listed as number 3 starter. Oh, never mind. I thought he was at the 1 or 2, but number 3, still okay. Still in a better position. I mean, he's still ahead of Logan Allen and Gavin Williams, 2 other prospects and the Guardians rotation there. So I'm pretty sure Bybee is not going to be skipped or babied. I think he showed enough last year to warrant that rotation spot. We go to Bailey Ober, which is a guy that I really have liked for a while now. He's a 35th best pitcher. So once again, we play that game. So starting at number 31, do we go with Jordan Montgomery over either Tanner Bybee or Bailey Ober? I think the time is now for those two, Bybee and Ober, to be picked ahead of Montgomery. Dylan Cease, I still am concerned about Dylan Cease's command issues. Bybee and Ober come with no command issues. They've been pretty good about keeping their walks in check. Although, again, it's one of those things, solid but unspectacular, whereas Cease is inconsistent but just spectacular. The upside is still there, but there's also more variance with Dylan Cease because eventually, if this starting pitching thing doesn't work, he still profiles as a guy who can always become a relief pitcher. Yes, even at this stage of his career, you could probably consider him more of a relief pitcher than starting pitcher if he doesn't keep those walks in check and that command of his stuff in check as well. Whereas Tanner Bybee and Bailey Ober have proven that they have good command and control uh, of their pitches. I will admit though, Ober does get rocked a lot. The one saving grace that he does have is that he does keep his walks in check, which is a big deal, especially if you're going to pitch for Minnesota. It seems like the Twins always are looking for that. I mean, look at this. He's been in the league for 3 seasons, and he hasn't been consistently in. Uh, well, I mean, 20 games started in his rookie campaign, but only 11 last year. In 2022, I should say, 26 in 2023. So, but he has a career 1.81 walk per nine ratio, and still posting respectable strikeout per nine ratio, as well. So that's this type of stuff I'm looking for. But unfortunately, it does come with a high. Actually, his whip's not even that high. It wasn't his rookie year, probably because he keeps those the walks and checks at such a amazing rate that it does look favorable uh, when you look at his whip. That's the walks plus hits divided by innings pitch number. The one thing I want to see is does how many hits does he give up? Yeah, so he gives about 92 hits. He threw 92 innings last year, or in his rookie campaign, I should say. Well, it's improving though. In 2023, he was at 125 hits against 144 innings. So what is that? If I could just do some quick math, and yeah, there it is. My computer is not cooperating the way I wanted to, but I will eventually get a number. And no, it's decided that it does not want to work with me. Hmm. It's oh wait, hold on a minute. There, now it's working. Oh, so yeah, 7.8 hits per 9 innings. So all the more reason to like this guy. I know that he doesn't induce a lot of swings, which is a red flag for me. I like guys who can induce a lot of swings. Oh, no, I stand corrected. 37.8 outside the strike zone. Swing percentage, 53 overall swing percentage. The call plus swinging strike percentage is a little bit on the low side, but it's almost identical to Tanner Bybee, 27.5%. So we're getting there. Uh, yeah, and the best part about Bailey Ober, 6'9", 260. Can you imagine being a major league hitter and you're facing a guy with this much control, this much command, and it's such an imposing figure the uh, on the mound there. It must be a sight to see. The last guy here, Hunter Green, at ranked at number 45 overall, according to the ESPN 300. So yeah, he is at the very end of this list. I would rather have him than Jose Barrios, maybe Hunter Brown, definitely Michael King, definitely Chris Sale. I've never been a big fan of Merrill Kelly. I don't want to deal with Shane Bieber. I don't care about Cole Reagans. I don't know why he's on this list. I thought he was going to be the closer for the Royals, Cole Reagans. I don't know. I'll have to look into it. I don't care much about it too. Uh, I didn't care much about Cole Reagans to look any deeper than that. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't care. It just doesn't scream someone I have to draft. And I think he's there because he probably qualifies as a relief pitcher and will probably be closing out shop for the Royals. But well, might as well see. Let's take a look at the stupid Royals, who I'm not very fond of them this upcoming season. They made some moves, but I don't care. A lot of those guys that they sign are probably going to get traded anyway for more prospects that are going to fail under their system. The Royals. Oh, Cole Reagans is going to be the number one guy. Okay. All right. So yeah, I mean, this is a sleeper of all sleepers, Cole Reagans, a guy that I have not been paying attention to, projected to throw 177 innings in 2024 with 186 innings pitch, according to Fangraphs roster research projections. I think they used the Fangraphs depth charts projections for that one, but only a 2.48 strikeout per walk ratio. For an ace pitcher, I would still love to see that go a little bit higher. Yeah, former first round pick, 30th overall for the Texas Rangers. Oh, was he on the Aroldis Chapman deal, I wonder? Hmm. 2016 amateur draft. Low fastball grade, low curveball grade, but the big bread and butter is a changeup and impeccable command, which yeah, still a work in progress, but he did post double-digit strikeout per nine ratios last year in between starting pitching and bullpen duty for two teams, looks like the Royals and the Rangers. But nah, I'm not excited. I am not going out of my way to get a guy from the Royals. I'm sorry. My hater, whatever. If the opportunity presents itself where I'm not spending an arm and a leg on this guy, uh, sorry, my getting distracted by the text messages as I'm receiving. But yeah, if the price is right, I'm going for him. But yeah, I still would rather have Hunter Green. Chris Bassett, yeah, definitely Hunter Green over Chris Bassett. Walker Bueller, I do love Walker Bueller, but I am not in the mood to see. I can tolerate that from Tyler Glasnow in the Rays. I don't know if I have it in me to tolerate a recovery season from Walker Bueller and the LA Dodgers. So yeah, Hunter Green. We all know him, former second pick overall in the 2017 draft. Guy who could throw 100 miles an hour, and he did show some signs. Yeah, there was a lot of ups and downs with this poor kid, but I think he's finally healthy. He's still only 24 years old. He'll be 25 in August, so basically next year will be his age 24 season. Big fella, 6'5", 230-pounder, double-digit K per nine, actually 12.21 strikeout per nine ratio. Walks are a little high, but that's okay. If you're going to give me that many strikeouts, I will forgive the walk rate. Still not as bad as Dylan Cease. The peripherals are kind of alarming, I will admit, but I am encouraged by his expected ERA, which is the StatCast expected ERA number, for lack of a better definition. It is at 3.82, so there is something promising. Still gives up a high exit velocity, 43.4% hard hit rate, but I don't care. The upside's there for bigger and better things. He does give up a lot of fly balls, 46.7%. Especially in Cincinnati, that is kind of a red flag. But still, oh, Sierra of 3.74 and the defense should be much better behind him now. It looks like a lot of those guys, those prospects that were coming up for the Reds farm system, through the Reds farm system, are only going to get better. And now they know their spots, they know their place. Still 49% swinging percentage, 33.4% outside the strike zone swing percentage, 28% call strike plus swinging strike percentage combined. I'm excited, man. Get pumped up for Hunter Green. Let's go. All right, so those are the first three tiers. I have four more to go. Let's do one more before I call in a break. I'll do the first break. Again, trying to see how much I can get done. There's only 40 uh, pitchers total, including relief pitchers, that I will be going through in this episode, assuming everything goes right for me in the next couple of minutes. Otherwise, well, we'll see. Bryce Miller at number 55. This is a guy kind of dropped the ball on last year. But again, the Mariners are so good at getting guys that can keep their walks in check, have high command. They're not gonna wow you with their big strikeout totals, but man, oh man, I mean the 1.78 walk per nine ratio, and that's after posting. Let me see, I can only imagine what he posted in the minors. 1.37 at Double A, although that was only four starts. Let's see here. Okay, 3.3. That's not good. That's not good. But 2.90 in high A back in 2022, that's okay. They did fast track him though, so it's kind of hard to see uh how good he can be in terms of how of that low walk per nine ratio. Is it something that he can repeat, or did he just get lucky last year? At 289 BABIP, maybe there was some luck involved. Uh, but I will take that chance on Bryce Miller. Uh, like I said, the Mariners do a wonderful job of getting these guys who are just come in with impeccable control. Red flag, expected ERA of 4.83. That's okay. FIP says it's at three. It should have been at 398. XFIP is at 4.30, and my favorite stat of all time, Sierra, 4.17. But you know what, though? The arrow is pointing in the right direction with Bryce Miller. Exciting young pitcher. Yeah, throws a fastball slider combination. So, yeah, that's a little bit of concern. But that fastball clocks in at, according to Statcast, at 95 miles an hour. So maybe we'll see more of the sinker, more of the changeup as he continues to develop in the majors. As like I said, the Mariners fast tracked him. Uh, but yeah, oh my God, 33.8% outside the strike zone swing percentage, 52.7 swing percentage in his rookie campaign. Golly, already at 50% swing percentage. I want this. I want this. Let's go. Yeah, I'll sacrifice the contact if it means that he's getting hitters to pitch at pitches that they shouldn't be swinging at. Let's see. Well, let's do one more and I'll call it a break here. Oops. That's Bryce Miller, the Seattle Mariners. Oh, speaking of the Mariners, Brian Woo! Ric Flair drip. Oh, I guess I'm not supposed to mention Ric Flair anymore. Oh man, that stinks. Nah, screw it. Ric Flair, woo! Brian Woo will be 24 years old at the end of this month in January. Same thing, pretty good control though. A little bit. He comes with a walk per nine ratio of 3.18, but a lot higher strikeout per nine ratio of 9.55. Prospect grades show a guy with a big fastball and a work in progress, but a high upside changeup. Breaking pitches are also nothing to brag about, but it was enough for the Mariners to call him up. Where's his command? Yeah, command high upside of 55 grade, but only at 45 at this point, at least at the time of his call up. Only an 87.4 mile per hour exit velocity, so that's good. Although who knows how much of a luck factor that's involved there. Sierra says, yeah, he's more lucky than good, but still a pretty decent 4.13 Sierra. Again, that's the ERA peripheral that takes into account the batted ball data. What was his BABIP? Yeah, 273. Yeah, that's he definitely benefited from something last year. JP Crawford or maybe Eugenio Suarez playing third base, Julio Rodriguez at center field. I don't know. So he definitely benefited from, oh, and of course, maybe some ballpark factors are involved as well. Seattle's still one of the still has a reputation for being a pitcher-friendly ballpark. I'm not sure if the numbers state that like they used to, but that is a reputation, even as they moved the fences in about 10 years, 10, 12 years ago. Plate discipline. Where the heck did it go? I just saw it. Well, let's see. Statcast pitch velocity, 95 miles an hour. So they have a type. The Mariners have a type. Big fastball, but with impeccable command and control. 50.8% swing percentage, 27.6 call plus swinging strike percentage. Still a work in process. Call plus swinging strike percentage. Yeah, that's what I said. 27.6%, 12.5 swinging strike rate. A lot to love about these two guys from the Mariners. And since I gave you two back-to-back Mariners, for real this time, last pitcher, because I got to get going. Oh no, Lick Lodolo. So this is the other extreme. We have guys who have solid foundations in their pitching repertoire. At the very least, they have the profile of starting pitchers with safe floors and still have enough of a high upside to really uh, be intriguing pitching prospects. And then you got Nick Lodolo, who's like all upside and no floor, if that makes any sense. Uh, yeah, he's respectable fastball grade. Slider is the bread and butter at 70-70. The command is still a work in process, but still a high upside of 60. A lot to like about him. Has a size, 6'6", 205-pounder, former first round pick. This guy just screams can't miss prospect. And again, he succumbed to injuries, inconsistencies, a 2.62 home run per nine ball when he was healthy and pitching on a regular basis. So this is a work in progress, but man, oh man, if you can tolerate some of his foibles, I honestly think you're going to get handsomely rewarded for your patience here. I know the StatCast numbers don't show any promise, but here it is. Sierra 3.46. They're a little bit more forgiving on that batted ball. So a lot of promise there. XFIP 3.78. They still believe in him despite the fact that it's the home runs were given up in bunches according to that home run per nine total there or ratio there. Statcast pitch type, fastball, curveball, and the occasional changeup, and mixing in a sinker. Actually, he's giving up on the sinker and just concentrating on the fastball. Fastball 93.2 miles per hour, which is pretty darn good for a left-handed pitcher. Um, from what I remember, I could have sworn people keep telling me that velocities aren't that high for left-handed starting pitching prospects. Either way, respectable. I'm pretty sure you can light up the radar gun if he needs to. Plate discipline numbers 36.3 outside the swing strike percentage. Outside the strike zone swing percentage. Sorry about that. 30.8% call plus swinging strike percentage. The guy has stuff, man. The guy is filthy. Only a 72.2 contact rate. Don't overlook Nick Lodolo. So, but I'm sure you're gonna ask me though, Felipe, come on, there has to be better pitchers than this guy. Well, would you prefer him over Aaron Savali at number 60 as the 60th best starting pitcher? A lot of people would. I wouldn't. I still believe in Nick Lodolo. Although I still got to figure out if he's hurt or not. I see that they that his arrow's pointing down according to the ESPN rankings. Nick Pivetta, yeah, I'm not taking any Boston pitchers, man. I don't trust. I don't know what the hell Boston's doing. I'd rather not deal with that. Gavin Williams, and yeah, again, that's another guy who would. I was actually going to add him to the list, but I think what ended up happening was maybe I did add him. Did they already update the rankings? I could have sworn Gavin Williams was on the next tier at 61 and 75, but at any rate, uh, that's a tough one. I don't know. I kind of caught myself in a pickle here, but I still like the upside of Nick Lodolo over Gavin Williams. Over Bryce Miller. Nah, I just Bryce Miller at 55 and all the reasons I gave. Same thing with Brian Wu. Shane Baz, I probably would take Nick Lodolo. The Rays are just a mystery to me. I don't know what the heck they're doing half the time with their pitchers. Nate Eovaldi, nah, man, I'm done. I'm done. Him and John Gray. Thanks for the championship last year, but I'm gonna go in a different direction. Give me Nick Lodolo. Braxton Garrett, I'll take Nick Lodolo's upside. Christian Javier, same thing. He looked gassed. I think years of going through a six-man rotation to accommodate Justin Verlander the last couple of years are finally catching up to these guys. Or who knows? There might be other reasons. I know the podcast with Chris Welsh was talking about Christian Javier being a two pitch pitcher and that kind of costing him. Um, Mitch Keller, yeah, for the Pirates, I don't think so. I have high hopes for the Cincinnati Reds this upcoming season. You Darvish, I'm done, man. I'm done. Carlos Rodon, same. I'm done. Not in that ballpark. Mason Miller, the A's suck. Eduardo Rodriguez, nah, I don't think so. Hunter Green, yeah, I give you Hunter Green and Nick Lodolo on the same team. I did it a couple of times in a couple of my leagues last year. I'm gonna go on back on that gravy train one more time, and that's a good place to stop for now. So let me stop sharing my screen, and I'm gonna see if I can get away with just pausing the recording and going from there. And we're back. This is once again the Total Basis podcast. I did have to step away for a little bit, but I am back. So I will go ahead and share my screen one more time. We left off talking about Nick Lodolo. And as you guys can see from the screen, first name up is Kenta Maeda of the Detroit Tigers. He signed a free agent deal. Looks like a 2-year, $24 million contract to play with the Tigers this season. There's a lot to like about him. I, I'll be honest. After taking some chances on some very young starting pitchers, I decided that maybe now would be the time to go after a veteran. Go after a veteran starting pitcher. And once again, I mean, I look at the list. Would I take Nick Pivetta over Kenta Maeda? Probably not. Aaron Savale? No. Clayton Kershaw? Well, now it gets interesting, right? But I don't think Kershaw's coming back. At least the Kershaw that we all have grown to know and love. Yeah, I don't think he's coming back. It's a shame, but it is what it is. All things come to an end. Nestor Cortez, I don't know. It doesn't really excite me, Nestor Cortez. I think last year he kind of showed who he was. Lucas Giolito, nah, that's a mess over there. I don't want anything to do with that. Max Scherzer's gone for half the season at the earliest. Then you got like a Yusei Kikuchi, Andrew Abbott, maybe Tristan McKenzie, Louis Varland. Nah. Seth Lugo for the Royals. Nah, John Means is coming back from Tommy John surgery. So I think Kenta Maeda ended up being the logical choice here for me. Ranked as a 61st best starting pitcher according to the ESPN Top 300. Let's see here. What am I looking at? Ah, yes. So, uh, has always posted respectable strikeout per nine ratios. He has a career 9.88 in his Major League Baseball career. Is able to control his walks, which is all we're looking for. Give me respectable strikeouts and keep those walks at bay. Home run ball could be a problem. He's always had a high home run ball. Uh, well, let's see, 1.24. Is that really high? Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, look at the xFIP. Yeah, I guess it is pretty high. They think he should be better than his 4.23 ERA. xFIP has him at 3.98. That's the stat, the peripheral that keeps track of the basically says if all things were equal as it pertains to home runs, then he would be at 3.98. He would have a 3.98 ERA. Expected ERA, that's a StatCast predictor there for earned run average, 3.77, and the FIP is at 4.02. Yeah, again, probably because of the home runs. So let's see, how far does this go back? No, I don't like that. I don't like this new Fangraphs model of things. Yeah, that's not good. So what I'm trying to do here is see how bad or maybe how good that 1.24 home run per nine innings is among all starting pitchers since 2016, which is the year that Kenta Maeda came into this league. Excuse me there. My mouth's a little dry. I forgot to take a sip of water before I started. So let's see. 215 pitchers qualified during this span. 1.24 would be, let's see, not top 30. Ooh, not top 90. Can I get at least league average? Yeah. 111th out of 215. So what is what is that? Roughly, oh, I don't know. Yeah, about 51 percentile, so a little bit better than league average. That's kind of an archaic way of doing things around here. But it got me the answer that I was looking for. I guess I could have also looked at his XFIP, career XFIP of 377. So where does that rank him in terms of uh since 2016 league leaders? 377, not top 30. Sorry, it's just still now my curiosity is getting the better of me. 46. He's 46 ranked behind Trevor Bauer, Sonny Gray, Chris Archer, Freddie Peralta, slightly ahead of Jesus Luzardo and Frankie Montez. So decent company that he's with, Kenta Maeda. The home runs are not are an issue, but if he's able to somehow find a way to keep the ball inside the ballpark, maybe Detroit is exactly what he needs. He might have something here. Now you could tell me, well, what about the home run per fly ball rate? Maybe that's the problem. All right, well, he's not top 30 in that category, not top 60, maybe top 90. Nope. Let's go up a little bit here. I went too far. Looks like he might be middle of the pack. 12.9. That's Ty Black. Steven Strasburg's up there. There, 13.5 is tied for 117th out of 215 starting pitchers who qualify. So once again, yeah, about 54 percentile. You know what? Yeah, I'm doing this wrong. Let's see if I can go back here. So, oh, no, that's not what I wanted. 117 divided by 215. That should equal. Oh, yeah, I was doing it right. So about 45% sound. So that is an issue. And I think the home run per nine is also um, off a little bit with my percentile. So, but he is hovering close to league average in that regard. But yeah, so that is a possible problem for Kenta Maeda. But that's okay. Plenty of peripherals show that he could be better than what he's shown so far. The hard hit rate was pretty darn high last season for him in Minnesota, so that is another concern. But he's always had a barrel rate below 10%, which at this point, that's all you can ask for. But he's definitely a fly ball. Well, he was definitely a fly ball pitcher in Minnesota last season, coming back from injury. I forgot that he had missed the 2022 season. Sierra, though, 3.76. What was his BABIP? BABIP, 293. Not too shabby. So maybe with a better, well, I'm not going to say better because you're going from Minnesota to Detroit. Well, I thought I saw that Detroit finished in second place to the Minnesota Twins. So, um, well, losing record, but like I mentioned before, the arrow is pointing somewhat up for the Tigers this season, for this upcoming season, I should say. He still mixes all his three pitches very well. Fastball, looks like a splitter and a slider. So he still hit the 91 mile per hour average zone. So that, I mean, for a guy of his age and the surgeries, the arm injuries that he's had, you take that for a respectable 48.5% swinging percentage, along with a 34.2 outside the strike zone swing percentage. Anything above 30, I'll take it at this point of the rankings here. 28.6 called plus swinging strike percentage, which that's also pretty damn good. You will take that in a heartbeat. So what I'm trying to figure out is, where is that plate discipline? Oh, there it is. Okay, hold on a minute. And what I said, 34.5% outside the strike zone swing. Yep, oh geez. Sorry, 34.2. And that puts him at top 15 among all starting pitchers last year if he qualified. So yeah, I that's good. That's very good. So all these reasons to get Kenta Maeda and buy in on him for next season, he should be listed as The number three, because Jack Flaherty. I didn't realize that Jack Flaherty had signed with the Tigers. Not that I was ever interested in the guy, but yeah, Maeda doesn't even have the pressures of being like top of the rotation. He's mid rotation, but still projected to get 147 strikeouts and 144 innings pitched. And once again, keeping the walk levels low and a controllable, sustainable level. So at 61, man, yeah, I'm pretty confident in Kenta Maeda coming into the 2024 season, especially at this low of a ranking. So what's 61? Well, hold on. I'm not looking at that. Overall ranking for Kenta Maeda, 268 overall. So in a 12 team league, what is that? That's the 22nd round. That's that's the end of my points league draft. Anyway, next guy up is Reed Detmers. And now, last I check, the Angels were going to go with a five-man rotation now that they don't have to worry about Shohei Ohtani. Reed Detmers is your SP1 so far, according to Roster Resource. He is projected to get 190 strikeouts in 177 innings. So how much are we talking about here? Uh, yeah, 9 point, is that right? 9.66. I'm doing something wrong here. Let me see. That's definitely wrong. All of a sudden, I forgot how to do the formula for strikeout per walk ratios. Reed Detmers, I have it at 9.67 or 9.7 strikeout per nine ratio. Okay, so I did do it right. 9.65 according to the Fangraphs depth charts, 9.65 for Steamer, despite the fact that he posted 10.17 last season to go along with a 3.63 walk per nine ratio, which is good for a 2.80 strikeout to walk ratio. You know what? It's going in the right direction. He's been improving the strikeout per walk ratio since his debut season of 2021. So those are things we want to see. He should be getting more playing time next season. These peripherals don't really do him justice as they're all over four, which is pretty darn close to his real ERA. However, there was some times last season when I was looking for starting pitchers for my teams, and I know I drafted Reed Detmers in a lot of my mock drafts. I think he was on all three of my fantasy teams this past season, but I had to drop him because the Angels were going with a six-man rotation because of Shohei Ohtani. So really in a league where in leagues where you're trying to pad the stats and accumulate stats and get two start pitchers like in my points league, Reed Detmers is pretty useless, especially last year under the circumstances with Shohei Ohtani still on the team. Therefore, the Angels having to utilize a six-man rotation. However, let's see, there were stretches last season when he looked pretty darn good, and I would have added him in a lot of my leagues if I had the space for him, and if I knew exactly when he would pitch. If you had any of those Angels pitchers last year, any of those six guys last year, including Shohei, you never knew. The schedule starts for that team itself was just so random and not very dependable. I mean, it was so volatile that yeah, it was just frustrating to deal with. So hopefully, more consistent schedule starts is a good thing for Reed Detmers. Other things to like about Reed Detmers, 6.2% barrel rate. That barrel rate has decreased every single season since he's been called up. Um, Fly ball, he's a fly ball pitcher. At least he gives up more fly balls and ground balls, so that's a thing to look into. But Statcast pitch type, still mostly a fastball breaking ball pitcher. Uh, Pretty much is on the way to ditch the changeup, which I think he would benefit from trying to refine that changeup. Otherwise, the slider and curveball might be enough to kind of keep hitters honest. But he keeps increasing the velocity of his fastball as well, his four-seamer, as he's pretty much ditched the sinker. Yeah, he doesn't. The sinker was never a pitch that he utilized a lot, but now it's completely gone. It looks like if last year's numbers are any indication. And of course, the most important thing, how's the plate discipline? 30% outside the strike zone swing percentage and 48.8% respectable swing percentage, along with a 27.3 called plus swinging strike percentage. Again, all of those numbers are going in the right direction. They're going upwards and onwards. Same with the swinging strike percentage at 12.2%. Contact rates are kept pretty darn low considering the situation that Detmers is in. So I really like him. He's the 67th best starting pitcher according to Tristan Cockruff's ranking. But yeah, if I can get him this late, he's ranked at 280th overall. So I mean, we're talking, what is that? The 23rd. I mean, I was able to get Justin Steele like in the 25th round, 26th round. I mean, 22nd, 23rd round for some of these starting pitchers is it would just be simply amazing. And then the last guy on this tier, number 74th ranked Griffin Canning, another Angels pitcher that just caused all types of frustration for the simple fact that they had to share time with Shohei Ohtani. And right off the bat, the Angels, if everything goes accordingly for roster resource, you're looking at Detmers at number one in that rotation and Griffin Canning at number two. And same thing with Detmers. Canning, every time I needed a starting pitcher around July, August, September, just desperately looking for starting pitchers, I should say, and spot starts and things of that nature. Canning's name always showed up. I just couldn't pull the trigger because I can't trust those Angels pitchers and then that bogus six-man rotation. And I'm probably being a little bit too critical of those six-man rotations. Eventually, you have to prepare yourself for the time when the time comes in. Uh, Maybe six-man rotations will become the norm and not the exception. But as of right now, only a handful of teams do this, and it's already annoying enough as it is with the piggyback pitchers and the bullpen games and the guy that only goes 3 innings or 4 innings because he can. Hitting lineups cannot see that pitcher more than twice or 3 times per game because they get exposed. So we got to bring in the bullpen. So it's just and supposedly this is the strikeouts are super high for pitchers nowadays. That you would think that we would be in the middle of a pitching friendly era, but I can't make heads and tails of this modern baseball game. And anyway, that's a different conversation to have at a different time. But Griffin Canning, again, respectable strikeout totals last year, 9.85 career high strikeout per nine ratio. Pitched in 22 starts last year, 127 innings. Only gave up 2.55 walks per nine, which is a career low for him. The velocity kept increasing as well, despite the fact that he only played, well, he, yeah, 22 game starts. That's pretty solid for a guy, part-time player like him to get to 22 starts, all things considered. The peripherals don't really like him except for xFIP, and he has a pretty high home run per nine of 1.56. But kind of a mini breakout for him, Griffin Canning, that is, despite the fact that he would get rattled. But there were times, like same with Reed Detmers, any random 4 to 5 week time periods where he looked pretty damn good out there. Unfortunately, again, he's pitching every 6 days. If you play in a weekly league like I do, it's kind of useless. Even in semi-weekly leagues, like in my Fantrax league, just the fact that the Angels just kind of they literally use pencils to schedule their starting pitchers as it's a pretty volatile situation with those six-man rotations. So not a fan, not a fan of it. But Sierra 3.80 Sierra last year. So there's a lot to like here. And there's a lot of things to worry about, but there's definitely a lot of promise here that it should definitely be worth keeping an eye on. And this late in the draft, yeah, definitely go out there and be aggressive as your drafts wind down and you're looking for that pitcher to fill out the rest of your rotation, you could do a lot worse than Griffin Canning. And of course, the most important thing that I look at is the plate discipline. Yeah, once again, outside the strike zone, swing percentage of 32.5%, respectable 48.5 swinging rate overall. Contact rate's about 73.4%. Sorry, what I meant to say is it's kind of similar to the contact rate that Reed Detmer showed off, 52.3% outside the strike zone contact rate, which is pretty damn good. If you don't believe me, let's look at the leaderboard and see what 52.3% gives you if you qualify. So we go to plate discipline, leaderboards, and contact rate of fit. We're looking for 52.5% is what I said, correct? Let me see here. I said 52.3%, so even lower than what I thought it would be. 52.3% outside the strike zone contact rate is top five if Griffin Canning would have qualified, and he would be right there tied with Charlie Morton. We all know who Charlie Morton is. Other guys who are at the top of this leaderboard for lowest outside the strike zone contact rate, Jesus Luzardo, who we just talked about, Blake Snell, the Cy Young Award winner, the questionable Cy Young Award winner, the true Cy Young Award winner, the guy who should have won it, Spencer Strider, at 44.7% outside the strike zone contact rate, which is absolutely insane. Just craziness. So that's the type of company that Griffin Canning uh, could potentially meet um, if we can extrapolate those 127 innings and get him to 150 and get him on a regular schedule, 29.5% called strike plus swinging strike percent plus swinging strike percentage. That's insane. That is, and go get him. Go get him right now before someone else finds out about him. Move on to the next tier. Now we're almost done with the starting pitchers. We're at pitchers 76 through 90. Let's see here. Brian Bello. So this was a this is a tough one. It's 77th ranked Brian Bello, which I have a soft spot for him because I used them in the championship game for my head-to-head weekly categories league, and I believe Bello qualifies as a two-star pitcher there. So I rolled the dice with him and decided to use him. But there's a lot to like here. I truly do believe there is. Does the his prospect rates from Fangraphs with a 60 potential fastball, 60 potential sliders, 60 potential changeup. Only thing that needs to be worked on is the command. Future value 50 back in 2022, 38th overall, best prospect in all of baseball. And yeah, strikeout totals weren't there, but he did gut it out last year for 157 innings pitched, kept his walks to a minimum at 2.58 walks per nine. But unfortunately, the peripherals don't like him. xFIP at 4.02 is the friendliest towards him, but still, it's over. Uh, it's a predictive ERA above 4, so he needs to work on that. But 2.93 strikeout per walk ratio. Anytime it's anywhere between three, if it's above 3 to 1 ratio, you'll take that happily and all the way to the bank and hopefully into championships. But yeah, the strikeout totals they need to go up if we are to believe in him. But there's a lot to like about him. There truly, truly is. I mean, he has that big fastball. Just needs to figure out how to put more command and change speeds and able to locate it the way he wants it, the way he wants to locate it. Otherwise, I can only imagine how juicy that fastball looks from Brian Bellows' hand. Let's see here. Statcast pitch type. Yeah, fastball 20.7%, sinker 36.4%, and then slider changeup. So nice mix of pitches there. But yeah, there's something off about him. But I mean, it's a healthy 95.5 mile per hour fastball, and lots of snake pitchers would take that velocity in a heartbeat. So the saving grace that potentially could be here, 32% outside the strike zone um, swing percentage. So where does that put him again? If he qualifies at 32.0%, at top 20. Right there, tied with Jordan Lyles in that category at 17th overall. Uh, respectable. I keep using that word respectable. 48.3. Anytime I see a 48% swing percentage, I notice that I keep calling it respectable, but is it really respectable? Let's find out. Sorry, I got a little distracted. I'm trying to figure out if I'm looking at these numbers correctly. What is it? 32.0% outside the strike zone. Uh, Actually, it's 28th overall. I don't know. For some reason, I might have mentioned that it was a higher rank than that, but 20th overall in that category for outside the strike zone swing percentage, tied with Jordan Lyles. Swing percentage of 48.8%. That puts him tied with Merrill Kelly, 17th overall, and ahead of guys like Yusei Kikuchi, Jesus Luzardo, Christian Javier, guys that Freddie Peralta, guys that we've all been singing the praises on this podcast before. So, so yeah, that's the reason I don't give up on Brian Bello. I know that he's with the Red Sox. I know I mentioned before that I don't trust anything that the Red Sox are doing, but this would be one of the few exceptions, as Brian Bello is the young guy on that rotation. I think he's about, I just had it here on the other screen. Here we are. Brian Bello, listed as the number 3 pitcher behind Nick Pivetta and Lucas Giolito, will probably will probably be 25 by June or July. Oh, actually, I'm sorry, May 17th. He'll be 25. So he's literally entering his 25 age 25 season. So he's still young enough. 25 is usually pretty old for a prospect, but he has a couple of seasons under his belt, albeit not with a lot of experience, but still, you would take that. So yeah, respectable swinging percentages. Contact rate's a little high compared to what we saw from Griffin Canning and Reed Detmers, even Kenta Maeda. I believe I don't think Kenta Maeda ever got close to above 75%. Bello was at 77.8%. So lots of work to get done here with this kid. Like I said, though, I still believe in him. I don't. He's been spotlighted before on this podcast, so I think was one of Sean's guys, my old podcast partner. So, so I will continue to monitor him, and if he's available super late in drafts, definitely worth the price of admission. Christopher Sanchez. So this is something I wanted to do because I kept thinking to myself, like, isn't Christopher Sanchez just the poor man's version of Ranger Suarez for the Philadelphia Phillies? So let's put that to the test a little bit. Why don't we? As I have this customized data tally over at fangraphs.com that I like to use to compare other players, as it has all the stats that I'm looking for in one place just by simply customizing your leaderboards. So I said Ranger Suarez. I don't know, Yogi. Let me see here. Ranger Suarez. All right, let's take a look. Well, how did these two pitchers compare last year? Let's take a look at all of 2023. So Suarez pitched in more games. But let's find out. Here we go. It's ready to go. Suarez pitched in 22 starts, Sanchez in 18 starts, 125 innings by Suarez. Sanchez almost got to 100, but he instead had to stop at 98 innings pitched last year. Strikeout percentage and walk ratio and percentage goes to Sanchez, along with the ridiculously high strikeout to walk ratio. So they're not the same. 5.94 strikeout to walk ratio for Christopher Sanchez, which dwarfs by comparison. I would even go as far as saying maybe it doubles up. No, it doesn't. Sorry. Big false alarm. But still, much higher strikeout per walk ratio compared to Suarez. Suarez did have the edge in home run per 9 innings. So he was able to keep the ball in the ballpark, but it came with a higher whip for Suarez. But that could also be constituted with or attributed to a high BABIP of 324. The better peripheral, slight edge goes to Christopher Sanchez. The Suarez does have him beat in FIP, but XFIP and Sierra are dominated by Sanchez. Sanchez also induces more swings, gives up less contact, whopping 30.9% called strike plus swinging strike percentage. That's insane, man. I mean, and the fact that he's ranked 79th overall, and he might even go undrafted in some leagues. Let me see here. Christopher Sanchez. Let's take a look back at the top 300 pitchers. Where is Christopher Sanchez? He's not even ranked. So he's outside the top 300. That's the 25th round, 25 players. This could be Christopher Sanchez, potentially could be the last man that gets drafted in a lot of drafts that are upcoming this season. But Sanchez took advantage of the fact that he was summoned to be to be a part of the starting rotation for this Philadelphia contending Phillies team. And he delivered with, again, respectable strikeout per nine ratio, a very good walk per nine of 1.45 walk ratio, um, respectable peripherals below 4.00. And I'm talking about the xERA, the FIP, the xFIP. The real test is the Sierra, which comes in at a whopping 3.33. Oh my goodness. Highway robbery if you can get this guy. Ground ball pitcher, 57% ground ball rate. It's amazing, especially considering the ballpark that he plays in over there in Philadelphia. Dominates with three pitches, sinker, slider, changeup. Um, and he won't blow you away at 92 miles an hour with that sinker, but there must be all types of movement. And unfortunately, I don't have the time or let's face it, I don't even have the wherewithal to look at the how it breaks from the plane and things of that nature. I mean, I could look it up, but I don't have that kind of time right now, unfortunately. Let's and again the plate discipline numbers. I mean, I already said a lot of this stuff. I mean, 48% swinging percentage with a 54.5 outside the strike zone contact rate. And I'm sorry, that's the pitch info plate discipline. Where's my regular plate discipline? Either way, it's pretty darn good. 37.6% outside the strike zone swing percentage, as I mentioned earlier. So Christopher Sanchez, I'm hoping that a lot of this these swinging strike tendencies that he possesses would ultimately translate to more strikeouts for 2024. Cutter Crawford ranked at number 90, and I know I've been pretty critical of the Red Sox, but compared to everybody else, Cutter Crawford would be the guy to look at this late in the draft. Ranked number 90th overall among all starting pitchers according to ESPN's top 300. Cutter Crawford will be 28 next season. But last year, in 23 games started, with 31 of those, I'm sorry, with 31 overall games. And you know what? Let's see if we can do a little bit of comparison here. I believe I still have my leaderboard. Yes, I do. So let's get rid of Ranger Suarez and let's put in Cutter Crawford into the mix. See how far away he is from being identical to Christopher Sanchez, the Philadelphia Phillies. Let's see here. Cutter Crawford, 23 games start, 107 innings pitched last year, a slightly higher strikeout rate. But again, that control from Christopher Sanchez just makes everybody look kind of weak in that regard. But still, Cutter Crawford was able to post a 3.66 strikeout per walk ratio in games that he started. So this is only games started statistics. The peripherals, once again, he had slight advantage well, not slight, but the full advantage goes to Christopher Sanchez. But Cutter Crawford does come with a 397 Sierra. And again, pretty respectable outside the strike zone swing percentages. A big whopping 51.5% swing rate with 76% contact rate, just right there on par with Christopher Sanchez. The big difference is that they're 26.4 caught plus swinging strikes percentages. That is kind of a combined thing. Crawford also has a stuff plus over 100 at 105 compared to Christopher Sanchez, who has a stuff plus of 83. So Crawford has a stuff somewhat velocity, while Sanchez is gonna try to outmaneuver you, outsmart you, outcraft you. Either way, Cutter Crawford, as long as he's on that rotation for the Red Sox, he should be good. Should is the big key word there. So move on to the next batch. These are, I'm speaking of, just talked about Ranger Suarez, and I must have not liked anybody else this late in the draft. But Ranger Suarez ranked number 91 overall. Um, so he's right there on that threshold. Would I take him over Mackenzie Gore? Probably not, but Mackenzie Gore comes with growing pains of his own. So at this late in the draft, compared to guys like Steven Matz and James Paxton, Jameson Tyone, I want a sure thing, and Ranger Suarez is as sure as it comes from a fantasy perspective. What has he done for us lately? So that's not it. Where the heck is Ranger Suarez? Well, I know what to do here. Hold on a minute. Just clean up a little thing here. Let's put him back on the list. So right now it's just Christopher Sanchez and Cutter Crawford. Let's put in Ranger Suarez, see if he can beat these guys up in any of these statistical categories. Uh, so let's see. Ranger Suarez would have the edge in FIP. So let's sort by FIP, field independent pitching. And Suarez is helped by a pretty low home run per nine ratio of 1.17. And a very oh wait, that's Cutter Crawford. Ranger Suarez was at 0.94. Yeah, that sounds more like it. 0.94 home run per nine innings pitch. So the FIP stat will always look into things of that nature just to figure out how dominant a pitcher can be in that category. Uh, but yeah, of the three guys listed here, Cutter Crawford, Christopher Sanchez, Ranger Suarez. Suarez has the lowest strikeout per walk ratio of anybody in that three-man group there, um, and the highest walk per nine. But he also has the most innings pitched. He's too big to fail at that point, right? Suarez, 32.3% outside the strike zone, swing percentage, 27% called plus swinging strike percentage. So pretty good. I mean, if he wants to play for the White Sox now, he could if we allow it. Anyway, uh, but here's a red flag, 9.4 swinging strike. I like to see that number in the double digits. Stuff plus of only 85. Then again, Christopher Sanchez is only at 83. So if mentioned Christopher Sanchez does it with Kraft, Ranger Suarez does it with macaroni and cheese, Kraft mac and cheese, right? So, anyways, that's Ranger Suarez. Proceed with caution with him, but you could do a lot worse. Edward Cabrera at number 92, not too far, basically right behind Ranger Suarez in these rankings. But Edward Cabrera had some nice little moments last season for the Miami Marlins. So I load up his team's page. Where is he? Edward Cabrera listed as the number 4 spot for the Marlins. At oh, I wanted to see the projections really quick. Yep, 153 strikeouts against 139 innings pitched. Now, I do see that he has a projected walk of 70. So that totally kills his strikeout per walk ratio because it's now at 2.19 for his projection, which is pretty darn high for my taste. But those 153 strikeouts will come in handy, I could assume at this point. Trevor Rogers is the number 5 starter. Edward Cabrera is the number 4 starter. So things are definitely looking up for Edward Cabrera. Let's see what else we got here. 10.66 strikeout per nine ratio. And the walks, yeah, the walks are gonna be, yeah, I had a feeling that was pretty darn high. 5.96 walk per nine ratio. Why the heck did I added him in here? And I did say that things are looking at, oh, because he's penciled in at the number four spot as opposed to the number five spot. That's what Trevor Rogers to worry about. Did not give up a lot of home runs, according to home run per nine. Ground ball pitcher. So yeah, could see how he doesn't give up a lot of home runs. Fastball hovers around 96 miles an hour. There's the batted ball, Sierra. Ooh, 4.68. Awful. But ground ball pitcher does good. 285 BABIP. Okay. But let's see, Stack has fastball and curveball and changeup. Pretty much all but trending to abandon the sinker and the slider. Yeah, the fastball comes in at 96 miles an hour for sure. And then, of course, the plate discipline numbers 33.4% outside the strike zone, swing percentage. Ugly 43% swinging rate. But it comes with a decent, actually more than decent, outside the strike zone contact rate of 56.2% and 71.8% contact rate overall. That gives you a nice total of 28.4% called plus swinging strike rate and double digits once again in swinging strike percentage at 12.1 for Edward Cabrera. So that alone is reason for me to be optimistic about him, especially if he's going to be going this late in the draft. He's still young, will be 26 come April. He should be ready to go and keep expanding on his durability. And maybe he'll hit the century mark in innings pitched this season. But there's a lot of promise to Edward Cabrera, even though he's on the older side of things here. Logan Allen. Oh yeah, Logan Taylor Allen, I believe is his name. Um, for the Cleveland Guardians. If I could find him. But I know that he was spotlighted in our show from before. I know that he was one of my guys that I wanted to spotlight on one of those minor league shows that we do from time to time. He had really productive days at AAA. I, I just remember when I looked at the Fangraphs leaderboards for minor league pitchers, he was always at the top of the list. So Logan Allen, listed as a number four pitcher for your Cleveland Guardians of the Galaxy, which comes comes with a projection of 134 strikeouts versus 143 innings pitched. Or an 8.4, very respectable 8.4 strikeout per nine ratio. So you would take that every single time. So the future, the Guardians did not give up too much on Logan Allen, but they kind of threatened him with a good time. Um, no, I thought they had signed someone who was on injured reserve or something. But well, let's see. Now would be the time to look at Guardians pitchers, and yeah, we're waiting on Daniel Espino to come back. Maybe Hunter Gaddis could be a thing. Hmm, never mind that. So it's literally Logan Allen's job to lose. At least I like to think so. Chase Silseth, as we wind down the starting pitchers. Chase Silseth for your Angels, guy I'm really high on. Once again, it's one of those things where no more Shohei Ohtani, so that means it's time to spotlight these young guys. He should be, last I checked, the number five starting pitcher for the Los Angeles Angels of Southern California. Yep, number five, with a projection number of 119 strikeouts and 124 innings pitched. You'll take that, especially this late in the draft, from a young pitcher like him who's going to be turning 24 in May. So he's on the younger side of things as of right now. Needs to work on that command though. Those are the control, 4.47 walk per nine ratio. FIP is way above four, especially his expected ERA. That's okay. He comes on with a nice fastball at 95 miles an hour. Ground ball pitcher. Oh, Sierra doesn't like him though. Let's see. What was it? See, his BABIP at 250. Yeah, that's why Sierra doesn't like him. Fluke, fraud. Let's see. Statcast pitch type. Fastball. Looks like a splitter, sinker, slider, and all but ditching that curveball. Maybe in case of emergency, break glass and relearn the curveball. I don't know. And as mentioned, where'd it go? Stat cast pitch velocity, 95 miles per hour on that fastball of his. So, yeah, a lot to like here, especially with the Angels. They are kind of forcing themselves to be a five-man rotation. So, remains to be seen. He needs to work. Was this Chase Silseth needs to work on his plate discipline as he has very low swinging tendencies, but can't argue with the results. 61.7% outside the strike zone contact rate, which not the low numbers that we've seen so far, not the lowest of numbers that we've seen so far in that category, but something that you will take. Although it does kind of come off as a little bit fluky, but it does come with a 28.3% called strike plus swinging strike percentage and an 11.2 swinging strike rate. So I always like to see the double digit numbers in that one, especially once they go over 10, uh, preferably going over 11. So that's Chase Silseth. Did we do anything for Logan Allen Taylor? I think we kind of just kept on talking about him. Oh yeah, yeah, we did talk about him a little bit, I believe. The decent swing percentage, but needs to work on getting more strikes, pitching more strikes by any means necessary. Tanner Hoke, another Red Sox player. Again, I know I was critical of the Red Sox pitching staff, but I think this might be Hoke's time to shine. He has a size for the role of pitching for the Boston Red Sox. 6'5", 230-pounder. A lot of teams would have said yes to him already to get more playing time, but alas, Gah. Tanner Hook listed as a number 4 guy in Boston, 131 strikeouts against 142 innings pitched. I think you will take that as a safe floor kind of guy, but his fastball slider combination was very well graded when he was a prospect under the Red Sox farm system. So I'm just trying to look at some of these other numbers, but there's really nothing that kind of stands out. Well, let's see, home run per nine. Yeah, career high of 1.19, so he needs to cut back on those home runs if possible. Easier for me to say than to actually do. But the strikeout rate is the lowest it's ever been since he got called up. Let's see. Yeah, danger zone in terms of the hard hit rate data that's available to us at the moment. Where the heck is it? Yeah, 43.8% hard hit rate according to StatCast. Pitch type. StatCast pitch type. Ditched the fastball last year. Try to concentrate more on cutters and sinkers, and definitely threw a wide array of. I kind of lost my thoughts. It's embarrassing. Oh man, I lost my train. I can't believe I lost my train of thought. It is getting late on out here. I might just do these couple of pitches and call it a night. I'm getting very sleepy here. I have to do relief pitches some other day. So yeah, it's fastball. Yeah, ditch the fastball and concentrating on the sinker is Tanner Hoke. And then really just unleashing on that slider. Does that equal to more swinging tendencies? Let's find out. 32.1%. It's about the same that he's ever done. 47.3% swinging overall rate, which is a career high for him, the highest that he's ever posted in that category. 55.1% outside the strike zone contact rate, 72.7% contact rate overall, 28.9 call plus swinging strike percentage. I like what I see from those discipline numbers. So I am confident in saying that this is the guy to get at this point of your drafts. And then, oh, my guy Reese Olson ranked number 121st, another Tiger player. Gotta love the Tigers. Gotta love them. There's a certain trend that's unfolding within my baseball universe, so to speak. Reese Olson at number 121st overall should be ranked somewhere here. I'm sorry, not ranked, but yeah, number 5 in the rotation spot. I really liked them last year. I basically picked them up in all of my leagues. 139 strikeouts and 146 innings pitched. That's another one. So Matt Manning, Casey Mize were the darlings of that rotation, especially as young farmhands, young prospects. And it's the ninth rounder, Tariq Skubal, and the 13th rounder, Reese Olson, who are basically saving the Detroit Tigers from total embarrassment for not being able to develop those early round starting pitchers. Uh, Only his rookie year last year, but he did throw over 100 innings, almost got a 9 on his strikeout per 9 ratio, 2.86 walk per 9. But yeah, some of the peripheral numbers are pretty wary on him. 4.77 ER expected ERA. So yeah, that's calling him out for being a major fluke. The 1.22 home run per 9 inning uh, probably didn't do him any favors there. Let's take a look at the pitching tendencies for StatCast. Big fastball, a big slider pitcher too, and has a changeup and sinker to keep hitters honest out there. 94.8 miles an hour on that fastball. That's what you want to see. And of course, the plate discipline. And we got to come in with an open mind because he was just a rookie, but 31.9% outside the strike zone swing percentage and only a 46.2% swinging percentage. So, uh, yeah, the rest of the population needs to pick up on that. Um, I'm sorry, not the rest of the Reese Olson needs to pick up on that. Contact rates, pretty respectable outside the strike zone. Contact rate at 53%, 74.3% contact rate overall, and a 28.6 called plus swinging strike percentage. Arrows pointing up for this kid. Only 24 years old, will be 25 in late July. So plenty of time for him to kind of prove himself. And like I said, I wanted to get through relief pitchers here, but man, I just didn't realize how late it was here on in my little time zone. So not the 40 pitchers that I wanted to get through on this episode, but how many pitchers did we talk about here? I went into great detail, but 24, okay. 24 starting pitchers to kind of sink your teeth into. And on that note, like I said, I'll have to do a quick episode on relief pitchers and give them their fair shine there. But yeah, I just don't have the energy anymore. So I am Felipe. You have been listening to the Total Basis Podcast. Thank you for listening if you made it this far. And I hope that you found this information to be useful. And if you're in a league with me, just know that I will be targeting all these players. And I do expect to get a majority of these players on my team for next season. You've been warned. You've been given a list of starting pitchers that I was interested in. Last year, I did the same exact thing around this time of year. And I let all my fantasy baseball league mates, opponents, get wind of my strategy. And they just went ahead and let me take all the pitchers that I wanted, all the sleeper hitters that I could handle. Got me 2 championships and two head-to-head categories leagues. So a very good season last year for me. Very happy with the results and hoping that doing these exercises will give me repeated success for the 2024 campaign. But until then, we will see you next time. Have a good night, everybody.